Welcome, my friends. This is Maniacal Incorporated, and you join me as we face into the largest war the Kingdom of Ireland has faced in some time. Actually, it's not as large as the war in West Francia, but there is a lot more at stake for us because we could lose a county. This is the first major engagement of Máel Tolai's career. He has just succeeded Flann Sinna as the High King. I said a couple of things in the last episode that, on reflection, I'm not proud of. I put all the blame on Cú-Cherca Mór. I said this was all Cú-Cherca Mór's fault. He pushed through his son's succession. I said it wasn't a stable succession. I put all the blame on Cú-Cherca Mór. In reality, there's only one villain here, and that is Flann Sinna. And by extension, myself, because we knew that Flann Sinna was in bad health. We knew that he had a bad omen. His health was poor. There was nobody suitable to succeed Flann Sinna. Coming down the line, there are a couple of interesting characters who could, if given a couple of years, they'd be in a position to succeed him. But unfortunately, he died earlier than we expected, and Cú-Cherca Mór saw through the election of his son, Máel Tolai, or Máel Tolai. So I'm actually going to address his name first of all. I don't know if I spoke about this in previous episodes, but this, the first part of his name, Máel or Máel, means bold. And initially it meant, it was a designation for a slave, but after the advent and the arrival of Christianity, it was used in religious names. So we've already seen Máel Mead, now we have Máel Tolai. Other famous individuals from history would be, well, famous names would be the likes of Máel Fádrig, Máel Breed, Máel Isa. So generally, it's Máel followed by a saint's name. And in this context, the bold means that you shaved your head or tonsured your head in devotion to a specific saint, and then eventually they just became given names. So obviously this guy isn't a religious figure or anything. So Máel Fádrig would be tonsured in service to Patrick. Máel Isa would be tonsured in service to Jesus. Isa Christ is Jesus Christ as Gaeilge. And we've seen a couple of Máel figures already. There was Máel Mead. Flann Sinna I's father was Máel Seach-Néill Mac Máel Rúnaid. This name is an interesting one. Máel Tolai, or Máel Tolai. The reason that I sometimes say Máel or Máel is a much more famous, it's a modern version of the word bold, or slightly more modern version of the word bold. And of course the famous person to have that is Gráinne Mhaol, Bold Gráinne, after she cropped her hair to join her father's navy, and that's Grace O'Malley, as she's known in English. Her sons were captured by Elizabeth I, and she went over and they had a grand old chat and all this. But the pirate queen, Grace O'Malley, as she's known in English, Gráinne Mhaol. So you'll hear me kind of sometimes referring to him as Máel Tolai or Máel Tolai. But the interesting thing about him is who he's named after. This is a very rare name. I've never heard it before. I had to Google it. And there have only been two people historically who've actually had this name. There's only two references in all of Irish literature to the name Máel Tolai, but they're named after a saint, Saint Tola of Clonard, who in the 700s built a monastic settlement in County Clare. And the interesting thing about Saint Tola, who Máel Tolai is named after, is that Saint Tola, he's referred to as a good soldier of Christ and the patron saint of toothaches. So what I think happened is that Cú-Cherca Mór, at some point in time, had a devastating toothache. It was crippling him, it was destroying him, and he prayed for relief. He prayed to God and he prayed to Saint Tola to take away this toothache, and if they did, that he would name his next born son in honour of Saint Tola, and that if Flann Sinna lived long enough, that Cú-Cherca would support his son, give up his own claims to the High Kingship, and support his son for the High Kingship. And Cú-Cherca Mór went to bed, and the next morning he woke up, and his toothache was gone. And his wife said to him that she was pregnant. And that son grew up to be Máel Tolai. So, in the last episode we thought this is an absolute disaster. He's a 1-star diplomat, but the annals of Irish history will record that he was ordained by God himself to rule. These are the legends that'll grow up around him. First of all, we actually have to stabilise his rule, so let's see how things look in the Kingdom of Ireland at the moment. Yeah, things are not good. We have 10,000 troops coming in against us. We can put together 3,500. We have a max capacity of 5,000. It's going to take us a while to get back up to that number. We're attempting to form alliances that will bring us a paltry 2,500. And the only other option that we have at that point in time, if I was playing this game on my own, offline, I would simply just give up Dunbar. But I know that I am being watched. You're watching and judging me. And judging Máel Tolai. And I'm sure Máel Tolai feels the same pressure on him from his vassals, so he's going to have to defend Dunbar, which actually was given to Angus, one of Flann Sinna's sons. So we're defending the former king's. I suppose he'd be a brother-in-law technically to Máel Tolai, because of course he's married to one of Flann Sinna's many daughters. No, he's not. He's married to his own cousin. Oh, it's confusing. It's confusing. Don't judge me. It's confusing. Flann Sinna's family is just so big. It's just, I don't know. Anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to call in mercenaries, and we're going to see if we can put together 10,000 troops. I'd just save the money and give up Dunbar if I was playing this offline. But you people, you'll judge me unless I defend this place to the death. Máel Tolai wanders about his new castle, and down into the dungeons and Desmond he goes, and he finds a prisoner who's been here for 2 years. This prisoner means nothing to Máel Tolai, so he's gonna ransom him for 50 quid to assist us in bringing in more mercenaries. Máel Tolai has no idea who that man was. We formed an alliance with a distant branch of the family, just as we've been informed that somebody's raiding our land. What? Oh, you opportunist divils. You opportunist divils. You know that we're in trouble. So, one of Flann Sinna the Elder's daughters married into this family generations back. Is this right here? There's Orna, and she married that guy. And then their son claimed the area, and now they're effectively a distant branch of the family. So there's one ally at least. I'm waiting to get these guys into Oriel, and I think I'll stand them down. And as you can see, I already have a rally point ready to bring them back up. We'll just kind of teleport them. Our problem is if we do that, it's going to take a while to get them back again, so I'd say what we'll have to do is just march them straight across. That's a bit unfortunate. They were still standing when the war was actually declared, and we will raise the rest of our army there, and we'll see if they can meet up. And let's go and start inviting in our new... Oh, to find him now. Here he is, our new ally. Let's see if he will join us. Oh, we have a peasant uprising as well that we're fighting on behalf of Savoy, and Savoy, we're no longer allied to them, so things are getting very complicated. And as for mercenaries, who else would we call in but the Gallo-Gloss? 321 gold, and we will have 1,510 troops for how long? 3 years. That's not a great number. That's quite a lot of money. And we have Captain Clemens of House Owen. That's an awkward shield. We'll hire them for 321 quid. They're going to arrive in Athlone, and we're going to bring them across as well, and we're going to see if we can actually try and get some early victories against some of the areas here before the bulk of the Swedish army arrives. Our ally has joined us. I think that is... I forgot to actually check what he's bringing to the battle. He's not bringing a lot. He's not bringing a lot, bless him. Just about 600 troops. I thought he actually had a lot more than that. Maybe he's one of the smaller of the groups that we've invited to join us. So hopefully we're going to get some bigger troop numbers than that. So Toothache is going to lead the army into Norwegian Scotland. We're bringing another army across to siege down Carrick, I think. Our mercenaries are coming for Carrick, so we'll send these guys for Lothian. Or Lothian, I always call it Lothian. And I think our mercenaries are coming for Carrick, they are. So we're going to start sieging down areas and see if we can... I won't say build up war score, but if we can start maybe damaging the enemy alliance a bit by taking some areas early. I'm actually going to redirect our mercenaries for Lanarkshire to keep everyone nice and close, just in case the Norwegians do indeed come in, which could be quite problematic, to say the very least. And if we can take these areas, we might move the bulk of the army down south. Actually, we can see some of Sweden down here is already under siege. But it would be handy if we could actually prevent them from having any place to regroup troops on Britain. Or maybe they're in another war. That would be fantastic. If they were divided by 2 wars, that would be awesome. They are not. They are not. There's an all-merciful amount of shield baiting going on. The one thing about the Swedish is that if they aren't going to raise their troops here in Sweden, they mightn't, or in Scotland, they mightn't actually even be in a position to 646 gold to raise 10,000 troops and bring them across. How much would that cost? Is that 105 gold? He's in a position to do so. Oh, here we go. Here we go. 10,000 troops are landing in Lothian. It's going to be an utter extermination. The only hope that we have... is that they are recently disembarked and we are going to have more knights. Oh Lord, this is all we can do, is send the entire army in. Prepare for the largest engagement in Irish history. Make that 12,000. We're going to be annihilated. Koning is fighting a holding... Oh, I don't think this is going great. Is anyone actually going to even get in time? It doesn't look like it. Our mercenaries have got in. One of our champions has become a berserker. Oh my god, we have about 3,000 troops. Koning has been killed! Oh Lord, an absolute disaster. An absolute disaster. The Battle of Lothian. We lost 1,700 troops. The Swedish lost only 478. And of course we lost one of our greatest ever military leaders, a potential successor to the High Kingship. Koning had his head ripped off. So our immediate concern is that we need to replace Koning with a new Chancellor, and I think we'll go for Brangen to keep him happy. So the former Chancellor under Flann Sinna. It makes him like us a bit more. With that massive Swedish army going around, I have no idea what we can do to stop them. Now the only thing is that they seem to be in supply problems, because that is a hefty army. to keep wandering around the place. So we might be able to fight some type of an action where we kind of drag them around the place. This war could go on for years. And of course, if it does go on for years, we're in trouble, because we only have those mercenaries for 3 years total. Oh, what are we going to do? The army has finally stopped retreating, and we're in a position to appoint a new commander, and it looks like it's going to be Chieftain Cian. The less said about Cian, the better. We have less than 3,500 troops combined. And what I was thinking about seeing is if we could maybe bring them across into Carrick and try to siege down that area quickly. Bless them, our allies are coming up. I'm not too sure what they're going to do, or what they're even going to be in a position to do. But they do bring another 500 troops, or 600 troops to the battlefield. We might yet approach half the total size of the Swedish forces, and there's like 1,200 Connacht troops wandering around. They'd be great if they would assist us. For now, we're going to watch what the Swedish do after they take Dunbar. The peasant war that we were not really involved in with Savoy has come to an end, so we're now finished with Savoy. And most likely, if they're in a position to enforce demands on us, I think we'll pretty much have to accept. We made an attempt to take the area, and it failed. They're not losing a lot of troops. They are beginning to split up and go in different directions now, and if we could pick them off, if we could try and pick them off, that would be awesome, but I don't know if we can. We're going to try and do something anyway. We're going to try and bring our army across into Carrick. It'd be great if our allies would follow us, but they heard us talking about them. Leachnaun seems to have gone to war with Ulster. So he's going in there in Galloway, and he's going to hit them, yeah. It messes things up for me, because I have to go and start sorting out counties again, but I'm not going to complain too much if Ulster gets a bit of land taken off of it at the moment. The Duchess, or the High Chiefess, is a bit too powerful. Then again, we don't want to see Leachnaun getting too powerful, so... Speaking of the High Chiefess of Ulster, we've just discovered that she's an adulterer. I recognize the anxious look on my servant's face. She is here to bring me bad news. My lord, you must come quickly. Your vassal, High Chiefess Muirna, was just seen leaving the chambers of your courtier, Kilne. Oh, poor, sweet, innocent Máel Tolai. If this was in Flann Sinna's time, we wouldn't have even taken notice of this. This was a daily occurrence. So I think people lose opinion and devotion. Now is not a great time. Now is not a great time. Our allies, bless them, have started sieging down Lanarkshire with 665 troops. The problem is, if anyone comes to attack them, they're a bit isolated. Hexham is under siege. So like I said, the handy thing at least is that they're moving south. We've actually taken Carrick. So we've, well, I won't say we've started undoing everything. Let's see here. We might have an opportunity to do a small bit of damage. Let's wait for the siege of Lanarkshire, first of all. And let's see if there's something we can do. Okay, so our allies have taken Lanarkshire. We're still not doing great in terms of actual war score. What we're going to do is we're going to head out into the ocean. Let's see if we can get out there quickly. Going to cost us the majority of our earnings. I think there's more. Oh my god, they're bringing in another 5 troops. And what we've managed to do is we've managed to surprise... Well, I don't think we've managed to surprise them, and I'm not too sure what's actually going to happen here. But we are bringing in our 5,000 troops off the coast of Wales, so we've sailed them down, and we're coming in against an army commanded by somebody in Norland, but they wandered down here. They wandered all the ways down here for some reason, so we're going to come in against them and see what we can do. They're actually fighting the English at the moment. So I think we're coming in on the side of the English, who we were fighting when this war actually broke out. So the first thing approaching a military victory for us, and the main bulk of the Swedish army is coming down. If we could actually hit them in conjunction with the English, it would be handy. A challenger. He speaks the truth, I'm afraid. You are weak, High King Máel Tolai. The time has come for you to step down. My vassal, High Chieftain Blachmach, approaches me in front of the whole tribe, proclaiming his challenge for all to hear. I will rule Kingdom of Ireland from this day forth. We have two options. Put some steel behind your words, or I will not fight you on this. It's a prowess challenge. 0% chance that I win the fight, 100% chance that I lose, or I will not fight you on this. Máel Tolai or Máel Tolai has been thrown into a high kingship that he didn't ask for. It has led to a massive crisis within the kingdom, as Sweden has taken the opportunity to strike against us. I think Máel Tolai, young, inexperienced, utterly useless at prowess, I think he would, knowing the lineage that he comes from, I think he would try to defend his honour, defend his family's honour, and fight for his claims to the High Kingship. Put some steel behind your words. My vassal, Blachmach, hefts his sword and takes a step towards me. The whole tribe is gathered around us, excitement and fear heavy in the air. Guys, there's 10,000 Swedish troops marching around Britain. Is this all you have time for? I raise my mace and attack, dodge, press on, feint. Ugh. With a quick slash, Blachmach slices a deep gash in my leg, and as I stumble, I realize it is over. The tribe is not cheering for me anymore. Curse you. So, Máel Tolai, I thought he was going to be killed. What has instead happened is we have been deposed. Let's go and take a look at how things are going. Rank lost. You are now a mere chieftain. That doesn't seem good. And we're also wounded. High Chieftain Máel Tolai, Mac Cú-Cherca Mór. The Earl of Desmond and the High Chieftain of Man. They are the only two titles that he held, or that were granted to him, on the death of Flann Sinna. I'm not entirely too sure if he's entitled to, or if he's in line to inherit anything. It's kind of weird. Here is Cú-Cherca Mór, with substantial land holdings. If he was to decide to die, it might be beneficial to us. At the moment, it's not saying that any of these are going to come to us. Northumbria looks like it's coming to us. Okay, Northumbria. So, on our father's death, we may get some chunk of the kingdom back. Apparently, we also have Dunbar. That's fantastic. That's great. Oh, thanks. Yeah, Dunbar. That would be, oh yeah, the place that the Swedish are attacking. Thanks. That's brilliant. Yeah, that's great. Let's go and look at I don't know what we're going to even look at. Actually, and I didn't realize this, we've gone back to the good old days of a heavily divided Ireland. Not alone has Blachamach just... This is it now. This is the kingdom. So Ireland itself is completely independent. Blachamach controls only a tiny handful of places in Scotland. Blachamach, you absolute idiot. How does the election work now? I think this is going to take a while. What we're going to do, we're going to start by seeing if we can bring this war to an end somehow, if we can defeat the Swedish and keep a hold of Dunbar, because now we desperately need it. Impressively, the bulk of my council has come with me somehow. Except for our marshal, which of course was our papa, and that's because he's basically in a different county. We are Cian, the chief of the Inner Hebrides, is also under us, and do you know what? To keep him happy, we'll make him our marshal. He's increasing control in his own place, the Inner Hebrides. So I should just check what is. So the Isle of Man consists of, or not the Isle of Man, but the actual High Chiefdom of Man, Desmond, Man itself, the Inner Hebrides, and Dunbar. So basically, Máel Tolai and 3 of Flann Sinna's sons. Dear God. This is fine. This is fine. So in the midst of it all, our chiefess has become pregnant. Oh my God, some other guys after joining the war against us. The main bulk of the Swedish army has actually moved south. So what we're going to try and do is come up and see if we can hit some of these guys, especially as some of them look to be crossing across into Ireland. So that counter march has not gone very well for us. They've actually managed to bring their forces up by sea, land them on the Isle of Man. They're going to have all 10,000 troops back together. Possibly we could siege down Dunbar in the time that it takes them to siege the Isle of Man. Who knows? It's a bit too little too late, but we've actually managed to form alliances with our father and a couple of other people in the kingdom using blood ties, and we're now up to 6,000 troops against their 12,000, so they've doubled the capacity that we have. Poor old Leachnaun is getting hammered. Leachnaun came in to help us. He's getting bait in Ulster by an army that went across. Overall, it's not looking great. The only thing is that hopefully if the Swedish get distracted by some of the battles that are going on down around here, it might drag them down in that direction. Now, of course, Cú-Cherca Mór's army is involved in a conquest here in England, so they're more concerned about that at the moment, which isn't great for us. The Swedish are bringing in 51 troops to attack us in Dunbar. Or to attack our allies, maybe. Finally, I think a battle that we're going to win. How time flies when you're having fun. You can see at the top of the screen there that our contract with the Gall Oglig is about to expire, and once that does, we are in a position where we cannot continue this war. We have a daughter who is now our heir. Let's see if we can come up with a better name. I think that's Cahan. Dunshach. Dunshach. I like it. Let's go with that. So we have a perk available, and the new... Oh, you're going to ruin all of us. This idiot is going to ruin all of us. He has won a war to keep Orgus under his control. And we get, like I said, a lifestyle perk. Yeah, I'm not entirely too sure what to do. I'm thinking of either opening up the befriend scheme. What else can we get down here? Decreased stress and... Because, yeah, I think we need friends at the moment. We need friends and prestige. Friends and prestige. I'm not entirely too sure what direction to go with. For now, I was going to pick monthly dread. Do you know what? We'll go with befriend. We'll go with befriend. It will give us some new gameplay options that we haven't done before. I think the Swedish are about to finish the seizure of the Isle of Man, and once they do, they should have 100% war score. There you go. I imagine they're coming for us in Dunbar. Is there any hope that we can siege it down and run before they get here? Is there any point? I accept your surrender. So be it. Well. 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 Oh Lord, Meath just lit up like a Christmas tree because of course Cú-Cherca Mór is continuing his expansion, and that's why he wasn't helping us. Our father was continuing his expansion down there. He is now taking a substantial chunk of central England, split it in half. In a different time, I think this might have worked. We've been sent a love letter by Euphemia van Steen, a widow of Flann Sinna, and the mother to 5 of his children, including Máel. And he's almost 16 years of age. His prowess is 11. Martial is 12. We're training him in the martial education. He's intelligent. And had Flann Sinna lived, this is the guy that he would have supported for the High Kingship. And if Máel Tolai or Máel Tolai still held the High Kingship, this is the guy that he would have changed his support to soon enough. I think this would have worked at in a previous time, but we're going to end this scheme for her to romance us. I've returned the army to the Inner Hebrides, to Iona. We still at least hold the site of insular Christianity. I've split the army, set them to raiding, and you can imagine where we're going to raid. We're going to raid Ireland. I think one of our armies doesn't have a commander. It must have appointed commanders from the... It must have appointed commanders from the other army, from... it must have appointed commanders from the Galoglas. For all they were worth. We need to get some money. We need to get some money, and then take a look at our options. But we are a bit low on money at the moment. My God, how do we dig ourselves out of this mess? And what a sight that is to see on the bottom right. We are raiding and we are hostile to the Kingdom of Ireland. And Brangan has created a faction to install himself as the Duke of Man, or the High Chief of Man. We'd better take a look at that. He doesn't have the ability to do much to us just yet, but if he gets much more support, we'll have to do something. Actually, there's the Kingdom of Ireland raiding down Sweden. Not the best idea. Oh, and we have a call to war. Look at this for a crazy scenario. We will be fighting for our... Oh, I don't know what he is. He's a foreign ruler. Wow. Wow. Our cousin Liachnon's claim to Oriel. We will be allied with him and the High Chieftain of Iceland against a distant cousin of ours, the High Chiefess of Ulster, and Duke Ezzo of Savoy, a figure we've seen quite a lot of. Let's accept. And let's see what... it's already at 49%. Fantastic. We mightn't have to do much. Let's see what this this looks like. The numbers are pretty equal, but High Chieftain Liacnon seems to have suffered substantial losses, so we mightn't have to do anything. Hopefully we won't. Cú-Cherca Mór has joined against us, which is awkward. So we're now fighting against our father. You know what we're more concerned about. You know well what we're more concerned about. If Cú-Cherca has joined, there's not a hope that we can do anything against him. God knows we need friends, especially if Brangen is going to try and install himself as the Duke of Man. We're going to start a scheme to befriend Cian. We've heard some strange things about Cian and his kids. There's a child with his wife, and there is a child with his sister, who I think is in our court. And we still have Kilne, her husband, as a champion of ours. I don't know what Kilne thinks of all this. But yeah, we're going to try and befriend Cian, because we'll need his support. Or we'll need him at least to support us over Brangen. And with our armies joined together, we're going to bring him in against the King of Ireland. And we're going to war. We're not going to war, but we're going to have a skirmish against the King of Ireland. And speaking of Kilne, he's just after killing one of the Irish knights. What a strange thing to say. We're going to march our army back. I hope we took some gold off of them. Actually, you know, we're not going to march our army back. I'm going to pause very quickly. I was in one of them to Ayrshire and the other one into Kyle. My God, we're returning to places we haven't seen in tens of episodes. I'm not going to lie, I thought this game was going to give me a nice, smooth, easy run up to the year 1000. I really did. So, Brangen has decided to stand up to us in court. He's challenging what little authority we have left. This isn't something that we can allow to go unchallenged. I think the best thing we could do is, how dare you challenge your High Chieftain? He'll lose 5 opinion of us. We gain 12 dread. Not very diplomatic, but effective nonetheless. We don't have very good opportunities here. You guess Brangen is cowardly? Most certainly not. He's brave. You guess Brangen is weak-minded or keeps to himself? I don't think so. Or we could mock his foolishness because we think he's self-conscious and cares about what others think. He is ambitious. Now, if this goes wrong, we lose 150 prestige. If it goes right, we gain a weak hook. The main thing that I want is that diplomacy lifestyle experience, which we only get with the first 3 options. I think we'll mock his foolishness and see if that works out in any way. And he's actually, he might very well be commanding one of the armies that we're, I think he is actually, isn't he? Well, look at this. My constant snide comments about Chieftain Brangen's grotesque size, disgusting, really seems to have gotten to him. Since the others begin to follow my example, Chieftain Brangen has grown more and more hesitant. Now he remains quiet, eyes cast low. That's right, don't you look at me, you grotesque monster. Cruel, perhaps, but it has to be done. I'm not going to lie, I'm quite surprised at that. We contributed nothing and got nothing, so be it. But I think Liacnon is slightly more friendly towards us. I did not expect that to happen. So I was slightly confused there for a second, but our cousin has invited us to, or he's asked us to join him. Munster is attempting to attack Leinster, oh my god, we never, when I was the High King, I didn't have to worry about these things, just fight amongst yourselves, I don't care. Now the whole thing has crumbled, and Munster is attacking Leinster. We will join in defence of Leinster. So very briefly, here was our first battle, our first successful battle against the Irish. What? Oh, Lord. Toothache led the way. Brangan was in second. Toothache Uí Néill, I think I spoke about him there a while back, so he's actually our lead champion. He is married and they do have a child. There's Brangan, there's Dubh who's came with us, Cielna, there's Cian. My god, sure, I was going to say it's strange without our father or Coning, sure, yeah, Coning, the poor man, got his head ripped off. And here is somebody that Cielna actually killed. And you can see there in the corner, if I'm reading this correctly, no, he's gone to war against his nephew. So he's actually supporting Meath. He's supporting Munster in their conquest of Ossory. And I think that's going to pretty much guarantee a success there, really. Yeah, we're absolutely depleted at the moment, and Meath now truly is. Maybe Cú-Cherca Mór was a lot smarter than all of us. Maybe he's in a position to take control of. Maybe he's going to take England. I have no idea what Cú-Cherca Mór is thinking. He is now 54 years of age, so whatever it is he's thinking, he'd want to think it quickly. Our wife has given us another daughter, Éireach. Let's see what else we can come up with. Katrina. A good family name. May you grow to be strong and wise, my daughter. I think this is absolutely hilarious. To gain 500 troops from Ross, we are going to marry our child, just born, to Chieftain Clemens Mac Cú-Cherca Mór of Ross. And there is his father, who is a bastard member of our family, and we married him off. I thought it would put one of our rulers in this area. I made a mistake. It doesn't make a difference, but we're going to marry him off to secure an alliance. While we've been doing some etymology on names, just out of interest, Cú-Cherca Mór, so Cú is hound. Mór, or Cú-Cherca Mór, is mother, so Cú-Cherca Mór is motherless hound, hound without a mother. It's, again, not a very common name in the annals. I'm actually kind of interested to see where CK3 is getting all these names from, because there is a character somewhere who's called Cú-Chen, which means, it doesn't mean anything, it's less hound, hound without. So it doesn't really mean anything. Anyway, we're going to send that proposal. Again, this isn't going to come to fruition for 16 years. A lot could change by then. But it will give us 500 troops, hopefully, to help us until then. I'm not entirely too sure. Is this Meath? It is. We're actually going to go and send 1,500 troops to attack the place that started all of this trouble, really. Gary. Oh wow, we got the achievement for marrying somebody. We've gone almost 100 years without marrying somebody. We've been playing the game really, really oddly. I think we've gotten married ourselves. One of our betrothed is betrothified to us. But Gary, of course, is where Grian Grafador's son inherited. And then he died when he became the King of Scotland. Then he was deposed, then he died, then Grian Grafador got it. Grian Grafador gave it to, what's his name, the guy that I've forgotten. Our father, Cú-Cherca Mór. Oh lord, this is so confusing. I just want to be King of Ireland again. And don't you worry, I will be. Oh no. One of our knights has been murdered, Cielna. And he's been murdered by Dubh. I'd swear Dubh was threatening this with a while. And when I say a while, I think something we gotta pop up like this. decades ago under Flann Sinna. So one of our knights, one of our best knights, has been murdered. And of course, he was married to Orla. And he was also our steward. Oh man. We could go down as far as... I don't think we have any other vassals. Yeah, we're not giving it to you, Toothache. Looks like it is going to go to Monya. And while we're here, actually, we'll get a wife for him. She has the comely trait. So hopefully. Saddleburga. Who knows, one day she might be a high chiefess of something. Or we'll probably land this dude at some point in time, but oh, all the dreams I had of this guy as the High King of Ireland. It just gets better and better, doesn't it? High chieftain or peasant, high or low, it does not matter. In the end, we are all mortals. I was reminded of this as I woke coughing in the early morning hours, a dull ache pounding through my head and throat. You seem to be under the weather, my lord. I know a fair number of suitable remedies. Here's Toothache, our champion and physician. No more than is necessary. It is too late for caution. Or leave me be. So we are ill. That's a severe penalty to health. Look, we'll be conservative. I think he's a bit of a coward. We feel a little brighter. Fantastic. Just a bit of bloodletting. Excellent work, Toothache. Like I said, what's worrying me is Papa's army is marching north. I wonder where he's going. I hope he's not coming to pay me a visit. I'm doing nothing. Here is our daughter, 1 year old. She's our player heir as well. And we're going to marry her to this 51-year-old man. So that marriage won't go through for 15 years, by which stage he will be 66. And presumably dead. Until then, however, the Alliance will provide us with circa 300 troops. So, we'll send that proposal. As we feared, Papa is bringing his army across. Probably to deal with us after we siege down Gary. It is vastly larger than ours. We have, however, taken a prisoner and sieged down Gary, so that's handy. Let's see what we can do. So in the midst of war, we have found time to dance, and apparently we're impressed by Chieftain Cian's moves. We had a great old day, and Chieftain Cian has became our friend. What's going on here? You divils. They were marching across to Scotland, and then they marched away. They'll probably turn around and come back again. It's going to cost 18 gold to come out into the ocean. For some reason. What could we be possibly coming out into the ocean for? It's now up to 20. Which is quite handy. We're going to sail them down here. So this is the son of the guy that was just killed recently. And somebody is plotting to kill him. Anyone have any guesses as to who it could be? We must stop the the villain behind this. It's at 5%, not much of a chance of succeeding, but we'll keep our eye on it. Like I said, we just lost 20 quid bringing some people out into the ocean, so these two girls are lucky because I was going to execute them. They're sisters. They were captured in Gary. We'll get a tenner for each of them from their dad, so we'll ransom this one off first of all. Then we'll ransom the other one, and if it's not accepted, or if he's not in a position to accept it, I don't know what we'll do. England is a colour now. What we're doing is we're going raiding more of our father's land. Dad, can I have money for pints? Dad said no. So we raided the place anyway. Should have given us money for pints, Dad. Should have given us money for pints. We're at the tournament, but it's been delayed. And usually we have two options here. Usually there's a person that we can push into the water or somebody that we can befriend. And it's actually the same now. We could push Brangen into the water, or we could befriend a cart of expensive champagne. That'll decrease 35% stress. We have no stress. Strangely enough, for some strange reason, after all that has gone on, Máel Tolai is perfectly calm. We could push Brangen into the water truck to liven things up. He'd become our rival. Do we want him as our rival? Do you know what? I think for now we're not going to antagonize him any further. I think we're not going to antagonize him any further. We're going to step away from the water truck. No, we weren't prepared for this. Our dad has came in. He heard us demanding pints, and he's came in against us. And he's also bringing in Loch Non's army. I was not prepared for this in the slightest. Dubh has killed one of his chieftains. One of our guys got his head ripped off, and I think that brings our little escapade to an end. Our father came in and gave us a hiding. And after that defeat, it's now 98% war score in favour of the conquest of Ossory. That's awkward for us, to say the very least. A lot of things have just happened all at once, including that Loch Non has died. What timing! In the midst of the battle. Oh no, this is a different battle. Loch Non's battle actually succeeded and he took Oriel. I think we helped him. I can't remember. We're back to our good old same old again. We're no longer ill. Our alliance has expired with Loch Non because he's dead. Died of natural causes. Fair play to him. That's a rarity these days. We'll march our army back up. Oh man, how far is it to get to any place that we own? We'll march him back up to 3 gold to bring them out there. Do you know what? We'll march them the long way, because more than likely what's going to happen by the time that we get up there, this battle will be over, and we'll just stand them down wherever we find them. We'll take a look there at the details. So Brangen, Cahasuk, Dubh, who's been causing us some problems in Cian. They fought fairly well for us. Cú-Cherca Mór himself wasn't fighting. But here is his son, our brother, Grian Grafador, the Earl of Nottinghamshire. I was going to say we didn't do too bad. We lost 1,600 troops. That's bad. And with that, the battle comes to an end. We lost the war, led by a cousin of ours. And Munster has taken Leinster. No, it's taken Ossory. So be it. We're now in a position just to disband the army. I think we got this perk a while back, and I forgot completely about it. I completely forgot that we had perks. Friends give us increased stress loss, or I think we can go this time with prestige per dread, because we have a small bit of dread, not much. I was almost certain that it was Dubh that was involved in this, but we've discovered that one of our former knights, well, he's not our former knight, he was a former knight of Flann Sinna's, Sturla, the Berserker, that it was him who was plotting to kill Kilna. And I think what we'll do is we will throw him in jail. Let's throw him in jail. Our daughter Toothache has gained the trait Bossy. And these are the actions that Máel Tolai has to take if he is to try and hold on to what little he has at the moment. His father, his own father, who we thought had maybe tried to secure the High Kingship for him. His own father seems to have turned against him, and now in desperate need of an advantage. I think it was nobody feared him. Nobody feared him. They knew he was weak when he came to power, and that's why Blahmach challenged him. As a Norse, or not as a Norse, but as a Norse pagan, we can execute Sturla without any penalty, and of course the reason that he's still a Norse pagan is because he was getting that military advantage. Now he's no longer a knight because in old age his skills have dropped massively, so basically Máel Tolai is executing an old man. I want to burn him at the stake. We can see that there's been another change in power there at the bottom, or there in the middle I should say, is ourselves. We were deposed, and Blahmach died under suspicious circumstances on the 16th of August, 972, and the High Kingship, what little of the Kingdom of Ireland still exists, is now held by our brother, High King Bran mac Cú-Cherca Mór. And there on the left hand side you can see that we are currently 46th in line for the High Kingship. Nobody's voting for us. And we can't vote for ourselves. We can't vote because we do not hold any Irish titles. Our highest title is the Earldom of Man. So we're probably going to need to do something about that in the next episode. Well then, wasn't this an episode full of excitement? Máel Tolai, 3 years into his reign as High King, was deposed in a battle which has rent the kingdom asunder. All the while, his father, Cú-Cherca Mór, expands into England, has effectively crippled the kingdom, which I think is now in the midst of a civil war. And you can be sure that the Swedish have taken advantage of this. They've conquered actually a chunk of the Isles. They've conquered this region up here, but they've also taken Lennox. They took that from the Blahmach, who took the High Kingship from us. And much of the region has splintered. And of course, on the death of Cú-Cherca Mór, we're going to see a lot of fracturing as well in these regions. I think we have very few opportunities. It's going to be a big negative in terms of general opinion and all this type of stuff, but I think we have very little choice. But in the next episode, we're going to have to break our alliance with the High Chief of Leinster and take that county and title. By taking Leinster, it'll put us back in the game for competing for the High Kingship. And of course we have an ability to befriend people, to sway people. And possibly we can try and make friends and regain the High Kingship peacefully. But for now, I think we need to accept the fact that we will need to improve our military skills, our military capabilities. Look at what we have, 258 out of 1,800. We're going to have to do a lot of raiding. To get money. We're going to be heavily dependent on mercenaries. For the first time since Flann Sinna established the High Kingship, I can't even remember when he did that, in the 980s or the 880s or the 890s. Ireland has fractured back into its constituent parts. Will anyone be strong enough to weld them back together? Thank you for joining me on this episode. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like. It helps greatly for summoning the YouTube algorithm and summoning other people to watch. Thanks to everyone who's been leaving comments. Somebody was saying that they hoped that Flann Sinna would get revenge for Sif and attack Iceland. And when I read that comment, I was like, oh yeah, Sif. I remember her. This game changes so quickly, which is why I don't respond to to a lot of people, because somebody will say something like, you should go and conquer Iceland, and I'm at that stage, Flann Sinna's dead. I was like, oh god, yeah, sure, Iceland. Anyway, like I said, thank you very much for joining me on this episode, and I will talk to you on the next one.